Welcome back to the next part of our interview with Dr. Wissam Raffoul. Dr. Raffoul is from Dimension Data. So what will be a critical factor that gives the client a confidence that they can move from traditional outsourcing to the cloud?
There are a few ones. The first one, the willingness of the current outsourcing vendor to migrate them. If I already outsource to, let's say, Hewlett-Packard, then if Hewlett-Packard are willing to migrate me from a traditional outsourcing contract to a cloud services because I'm going to realize benefits, especially on cost, for example, cost reduction, then of course, that's one of the things I should be welcoming. If my current vendor is willing to move me for reasons, then I'm more comfortable. However, if I'm going to change vendors just to use cloud and the vendor is not strong enough, it could be a concern. Especially that if you look 10 years ago, the cloud used to be called application service providers, ASPs. There was that buzzword at the time, and they did not survive for the same issues. Big vendors didn't adopt it, and number two, the integration issue was an issue and therefore dropped out. So I have the same concern now, will it happen or not? Second part is the governance. The governance here is more complex than a traditional governance. How are you going to establish?
Cross-border issues?
Because it's a cross-border issues. You're dealing probably with a mixture of software excellence type organization and outsourcer, where it's much easier if you're going to deal with outsourcers only, you know. So you have another element of complexity of the governance.
So is that where someone like a consultant like Dimension Data can bridge that gap?
We can, because we can identify the risk and give them the mechanism to governance. Especially that what we know over the years. The teething problems in the original outsourcing contracts were related to lack of governance, right? Mismatch of expectation, roles and responsibilities are not defined, the processes, how the buyer and the vendor did together were not defined, and so on, and created a lot of friction to a level where it became not fixable. Now, you need from the beginning here to establish it right, and there are immaturity at the vendor side, the pure cloud computing, because they didn't operate for a long time as an outsourcer. That's the sort of things which needs to be addressed to give it a chance of success. And last but not least, the integration. I mean, I can't move my production environment until I understand how the integration issues are going to be fixed. One of the failures in the ASPs were that they didn't have a model for system integration or modification, and therefore even people were not capable to experiment with it. Now we start seeing something in the cloud that they are thinking of establishing that sort of things in certain areas, but yet to be proven.